What is our top 5 best leopard gecko morphs for advanced keepers? Stick around in this video and you'll find out. Alright guys, well starting it off at number 5 is going to be the super giant leopard gecko. So super giant leopard gecko was originally discovered about 20 years ago. So it's been around for a while, and there are a couple breeders that have large collections of these, but for the most part, the mainstream leopard gecko world does not work with them too much. Now, I think they're really cool. I think they offer a nice variety to enter into your collection. I mean, we are collectors after all, right? So you want different shapes, sizes, colors, patterns. It's kind of what we go for in this hobby. But at the end of the day, they never quite took off or got the notoriety and became as popular or as mainstream as like a Tangerine morph or a snow. There are some breeders that have chosen to work directly with super giants only. Corey's Leos out in Arizona from where I'm from, and Calico Geckos. Both very good, trustable, knowledgeable breeders. And this little guy actually comes from Corey's Leos. He's 10 inches long, just about over 100 grams. And if you were to read about super giants, there's a lot of different size classifications about weight and length and how quickly they grow. So I don't have too much experience personally with these guys yet, but I'm hoping to have Calico Geckos on our show soon one day so that we can interview him and ask him everything he knows. Now, there was a little controversy that happened in the hobby recently within the last couple of years. Ron Tremper, the founder of this morph, concluded in some recent research that he believes the gene is actually recessive and not dominant as it was originally displayed to be. After talking to a reliable breeder that works with these today in the hobby and produces hundreds upon hundreds of these every single year, he is absolutely confident that it is still a dominant gene. And more specifically, incomplete dominant, meaning it has a super form. Super meaning it can carry 2 copies of the gene and pass it on to 100% of the offspring, just like this guy. Since this guy is a super giant, he has 2 copies of the capital G, and so when he breeds with a female, every single one of those babies are going to have at least 1 copy of the giant gene. But if you look at those jaw muscles, pretty outstanding profile of the super giant leopard gecko. So they're going to be just about as long as a regular leopard gecko, but definitely a little bit more bulky and thicker. And they will typically have those big, blocky, bulky heads. So pretty cool. There is not many genes in animals that are known to make the animal actually bigger or smaller. So to have one in leopard geckos to make it bigger is absolutely amazing, and we will actually be trying to work the supergiant gene into some of these other projects that we're going to talk about next. Alright guys, at number 4 is actually a whole category of animals that we're going to talk about called subspecies. So this that I'm holding in my hand right now is a Afghanicus leopard gecko. It is in the family of the normal leopard geckos that we work with, but it is a subspecies of the main species, Macularis macularis. This species is called Macularis afghanicus. And when you look at the patterning on this animal, it is absolutely extraordinary. I believe this is where a lot of bold stripe, bold spot, jungle, Halloween mask type patterns came from. Because if you look, this is just a natural gecko, and look at the pattern on that head. It has a beautiful heart right there. Some of them have like sea turtles on their head. It's absolutely amazing. All of these subspecies that we talk about in this section can interbreed with the Macularis macularis. They're all part of the same species / subspecies and can therefore be mixed with each other very easily. So, really cool addition to your collection to add for some extra boldness, variety, and color. Now, contrary to what I just said about the Afghanicus, the Turkmenicus leopard gecko is actually classified as a different species of leopard gecko. The common leopard gecko that we keep is thought to be family name Eublepharis, species name Macularis. This species of leopard gecko is family name Eublepharis, species name Turkmenicus, which is really, really interesting. But they do interbreed really well with the Macularis species, and they are just another type of leopard gecko. You know, a lot of these leopard geckos, they're from the Middle East area over there. Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Turkey, Pakistan, India. Some of them are interbreedable. Some of them are not interbreedable. Some of them are kind of interbreedable, where they will produce lower amounts of offspring or sterile offspring that cannot produce babies. Similar to a horse and a donkey getting together and making a mule. The horse and the donkey are able to make a baby, but mules are actually not able to successfully have babies on their own. But the Turkmenicus species, you have no worry about that. You can very easily interbreed Turkmenicus with about 3 or 4 of the different species and subspecies of leopard geckos that are known in the hobby. And look how pretty those blue eyes are. This is the natural look of the animal. This animal has no mutations and no genes in it outside of its natural chromosomal makeup. So pretty cool. All right, guys, probably one of the subspecies I most look forward to working with and intermixing with a lot of our known morphs is called the Macularis fasciolatus. As you can see, these different subspecies sometimes also tend to be a little bit more active or flighty. They also have different body characteristics, such as longer and leaner for the Turkmenicus and the fasciolatus, and shorter and thicker for the Afghanicus and the Macularis. But if you look at the color and pattern on this guy, he has really nice tones of nice light purple, bright yellow. His pattern starts really high on his sides, giving him a very nice, clean, white-sided look, and beautiful, white, crisp, and clean contrast all across the body. So again, this looks very similar to what a snow mutation Macularis would look like, but this has no leopard gecko mutations inside of its DNA, outside of the natural polygenic traits that are influencing the shape, the size, the color, and the pattern of this natural leopard gecko. I just want to show you 2 more things I noticed about the fasciolatus. This is a different male that we have. You can see they have extreme spotting, and the spots tend to be small, and there tends to be a lot of them. All right, and if we also take a look at this guy's face, you can see a lot of that yellow color from his body bleeds in to his head. It's a pretty outstanding trait that you don't see too much of in the regular Macularis leopard geckos that I have here. But really, really cool color, contrast, and pattern altogether. So taking a number 3 spot in the hot seat is a Frosty Turk leopard gecko. If you're unfamiliar with the Frosty Turk project, it is simply a cross between that earlier mentioned species called Eublepharis turkmenicus and the controversial lemon frost gene, which is currently located in the Eublepharis macularis genome. So essentially, a genome is the whole genetic code that makes up all the genes of an animal. Inside of the lemon frost genome appears to be multiple defects that sadly cause tumor production inside of the animal's body. This first typically comes up as skin tumors, but also has been known to move and become organ and other body part tumors as well. So it is a dangerous morph to be working with for that reason, but it is a pretty cool project to show, number 1, how outcrossing can improve the genetics and the bloodline for any leopard gecko animal, but also number 2, how it might create a potential solution to rewriting the code or the erroneous parts of the DNA that are known to cause the problems right now in the lemon frost. We have 3 adult males here. They're all about a year old. One of our males has a bright spot on him that is similar to a mole on you and I, and it wrinkles and it bends and it twists and it moves with his body, and therefore we cannot conclusively say is tumorous yet. Our second male has a cluster of bright skin cells that does the same thing, looks similar to a mole on you and I, but it does appear to be a little bit more hard and possibly tumorous. And this guy is showing no signs of tumors or anything yet at this point in his life. If we can isolate and find a clean line of the lemon frost gene to pass on, or other mutations associated with the lemon frost gene, such as their beautiful eyes or their bright skin tone, if that can be isolated away from the tumorous problems, that would mean that it is a gene that we can comfortably work with in the leopard gecko hobby. And if it cannot, then we will definitely do our part to document that for the hobby and to show all the different projects we ran and what did and or did not work. So by taking clean and fresh and new DNA and putting it into the Lemonfrost morph, you're able to see that we are able to elongate the face, elongate the body, and take away that inbred look. And we were also able to appearingly minimize the production and severity of the tumors in the animals. And so it's possible through enough outcrossing and rewriting of the genome or genetic code that maybe, just maybe, we might isolate some clean lines of Lemonfrost. But time will really tell, and I am definitely not promoting this as something that can absolutely be done. But we are going to do our part to document the process of this outcrossing and the success of it. But the real reason this takes the number 3 slot is because it shows the position that I believe species and subspecies will take in the leopard gecko hobby over the next 50 years. Yes, I said 50 because in 50 years, we still want to be keeping and breeding leopard geckos, right? And as of right now, we are not getting in any new or fresh or wild DNA types of leopard geckos because importation has stopped for these guys. So the more diverse bloodlines that we have to work with, I think that will help us carry on this hobby long into the future, as well as create some really cool contrast, body size, and body art combinations that normally would not be able to be created without the subspecies of leopard geckos. Coming in at number 2, and a very worthy spot on this list, is the white and yellow tangerine leopard gecko. Now, I actually don't have any white and yellow tangerine leopard geckos in my collection right now, but I have all the ingredients to make them. And the reason that I have not made them yet is because I want to take the best white and yellow lines and create lots of really good breeders to breed with the best tangerine lines and create lots of really good breeders to create offspring that just look amazing and outstanding. So the white and yellow gene increases the brightness of the animals and is also just known in general to be a very pretty and very clean bloodline. As you can see, the green on top of this guy's head is amazing. And even to babies that don't inherit the white and yellow gene, they still inherit that green and very bright and high yellow coloration from this male. And this is actually a new female that we are adding to our breeding list for this year. And she has come out with some very deep oranges that almost have a reddish appearance, as you can see on her face. She is Tremper albino, as you can see across her body, no black pigment, and therefore she will make an outstanding mix to a white and yellow. So potentially, we could be breeding these guys in the future. Although I might go one more generation with the tangerines just to produce a whole bunch more tangerines that are very nice color, and then introduce the white and yellow gene to that project. So if you want to make your own white and yellow tangerines, you could buy some of the top dollar ones. They usually go for anywhere between $400 to $600 for the top quality ones, and sometimes even more expensive than that. Or you could buy all the ingredients yourself to make them and then come up with your own top quality white and yellow tangerine morphs. All right, guys, you know I had to do it for the number 1 spot. I'm just so excited about this melanistic, all black, dark project that we have in leopard geckos called the Black Knight Project. It's actually been around for a while, but it's taken a long time to get to America and also to get to the quality that we have today. Now, it is a line bred trait similar to Tangerine, so it takes many years of inbreeding, parents to children, brothers to sisters of the bloodlines to get them darker and darker and darker by basically just breeding the darkest animals to each other. But once you have an animal this dark, you could simply outcross it to anything. A fasciolatus, a Turkmenicus, an Afghanicus, another Macularis bloodline, and you could get some clean and fresh blood in there to start creating your own separate lines of Black Knight, melanistic, dark leopard geckos. And that is essentially what we are going to do here and are working on. So this year we are really working on producing more high quality Black Knights. As you can see, similar to this girl right here that is just completely jet black. Sometimes they will come out with some patterning look to them, but I still think that's pretty cool. But we want to make more like this girl right here that's just completely jet black. And then we will be outcrossing these geckos, and we already are starting to outcross these geckos into other bloodlines such as Tangerine Tangerine, so you can make orange Black Knights. White and yellow, so you can make white and yellow Black Knights. Snow, so you can make snow Black Knights. Turkmenicus and fasciolatus, so you can make subspecies Black Knights. Giants, so you can make giant Black Knights. And one of my favorite possibilities that I'm thinking of, and we potentially might have some fertile eggs from this year, is the Afghanicus Black Knight project. Because when you take an animal such as the Afghanicus that is already dark and bold, and you breed it to an animal that is already dark and bold like the Black Knight, I think that that is a remedy for success. And so just an example, you can see the Afghanicus in my left hand, how really dark and bold and rich those black colors are. And then the Black Knight in my right hand, who was probably trying to breed with her a second ago, so I'm gonna keep him a little bit away from her. These two have actually already bred this year, and I'm waiting to see if we can get some fertile eggs from them. Little by little, guys, but projects to work on. Pretty cool. All right, what did you think about this video, guys? Did you like my choices? Did you have any problems with my choices? Are there any other choices you would recommend? Let me know in a comment down below, and we might talk about it in the next live stream or in the next video. We are trying to do live streams now every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so stay tuned for that. Mondays for sure, and Wednesdays and Fridays are a little bit iffy, but we do have an extra helping hand around here now, and I think that's gonna give me the ability to do more live streams with you guys, answer more questions, and also put out more content. So thank you guys very much. I really appreciate your likes and subscribes. I'll see you in the next video, and have a geeky gecko great day.